Hey everybody, Nickie Brown here. So, I am going to make spaghetti sauce or uh, gravy, depending on who you are. Um, Now, normally somebody's grandma or Italian grandma or mother would take her tomatoes. I did buy tomatoes, but I used some of them for my salad. But she would take them and put them in a pot and she would let them cook for hours. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to kind of cheat my way to my sauce. So what I'm going to do is put my tomatoes in my blender, and I'm not sure if I need to use the big part. But right now, it's looking like a yes. So, I don't know why I'm cutting those up so small. But anyhow, I'm gonna like puree the tomatoes. I don't mind having pieces of garlic in there, like bigger pieces of garlic. So I'm down to 6 tomatoes, which is fine. These are Roma or Pulp Plum tomatoes. And so I'm just making them a little smaller. Now with the onion, I don't want little pieces of onion. I'm gonna bust these garlic pieces down though. But anyway, I learned how to make sauce a long time ago. I really keep it simple. The tomatoes, olive oil. You can just do salt and pepper. But of course, some Italian seasoning would be great. Thyme, basil, oregano, marjoram. That's in Italian seasoning. You can add extra basil, extra thyme. You can make it spicy with some red pepper flakes, some cayenne, jalapenos, whatever you like. So basically I'm going to blend the tomatoes to make my puree. Again, I'm kind of cheating a little bit. Instead of cooking it for hours, I'm just going to make it into like a little puree. I'm adding most of the bulbs of garlic, and then I'll cut up a few pieces because again, I like garlic, so I don't mind having a couple chunks in there, but we're going to get that flavor. And I may not blend it like puree it because I don't mind even having a few chunks. But it should be very flavorful. And I'm going to add salt, pepper, red crushed peppers, Italian seasoning, cayenne pepper, and a bay leaf to my pot. Oh, and I have my onion here, my red onion. We'll see. I may just pulse it a little bit and not necessarily puree it because I like a chunky sauce. But normally, like I said, I would just take the tomatoes, pour some olive oil and add my seasoning and let it cook for a long time. But we're not getting ready to do that today. I like for my, I don't know, I just don't cook my food as long as I used to. I realize you don't have to cook certain things for hours in order for it to have a good taste and a good flavor, and it's make it do what it do, or what you want it to do. So and again, I like garlic, so I am using, it wasn't quite the whole bowl, but it was more than half a bowl of garlic, so about 3/4 of a bowl of garlic. And it's going into the blender. That's like a few pieces. So that. This is one of the fastest ways to peel garlic. The store-bought one is okay, but if you add citric acid to it, the ones that's already cut up, and it does change the flavor a little bit. So some people don't notice it. I notice it. My taste buds do notice it, and so I just, for myself personally, don't particularly care for it. So I choose to cut my own. There's nothing like fresh, in my opinion. But everybody has to do what makes sense to them, because I do understand that it is convenient. So I'm just cutting up those pieces of onion to put and I'm going to this is the only onion I have, so I'm not going to put that whole thing in there. I need more onion. In order to prevent you from crying, you should rinse your onion underneath cold water before you start cutting it. Or you can wet a paper towel and put it next to the onion as you chop it. And again, that will prevent you from crying. But I find that if you rinse it one good time, usually that does the trick, at least for me anyway. And then I normally store it in a bowl and put it in the Frigidaire, although I've read that once you cut an onion, you're supposed to use it right then and there. But I don't always do what I'm supposed to do, I suppose, when it comes to stuff like that. Okay, I think that'll be chunky enough. That's gonna go in the actual sauce, along with my garlic. I'm gonna cut up some garlic too and put that in there. So let's go ahead and get our blender and start blending. If I need to add olive oil, I will, but the last time I remember doing this, it blended just fine. So we'll see. So let's see if we toss it. Let me take this off. I shampooed my hair today, so I normally tie it up after I shampoo it. Let's toast. That's what it looks like so far. I think I'm going Alright. I think it's good actually. It smells good. So I'm going to put this in my pan. And I'm going to add the olive oil. Yeah, the last time I did this, I did make it a lot chunkier. But it's fine. And some people take the skin off the tomatoes. You do whatever makes sense to you. Normally, so ideally I would buy like a big bag of tomatoes, and then I would just cut them up, and like I said, let them cook in the olive oil. I probably need more olive oil. That's good already. I probably don't need those other cloves of garlic though. But I am going to add some vegan butter. I'm going to turn the fire up just a little bit. And since I pureed it, it's already kind of cooked down, so to speak. That garlic is good though. Okay, so I'm going to add more oil. I haven't done this in a while, but usually it's just the tomatoes and a whole bunch of oil. And the last time I did the tomatoes in the blender, like I said, they were more chunky. This time I decided to do more of a puree to see what that's like. But it's fine. So that's my cayenne. Pepper. crushed red pepper. Italian seasoning. Who am I kidding? Yeah. Yeah. In case you didn't know, I'm silly. Yeah, baby. If I need to add anything else, I shall. Let me put me a little bay leaf in there. You can use these to write on too. But that's another show. That's more spirituality. Okay. So, of course, I'm just gonna let that cook. And the fire's not up too high, but it's up high enough. I'm just gonna give this a little taste. Yeah. I do think it might need a little more salt though. Just a little bit. Do I want to add more Italian seasoning? Let me let it cook first. But I definitely taste that garlic. I love garlic. It's very garlicky. So if you don't like that much garlic, and you might want to tone yours down a little bit. But for me, it's just fine. Okay, perfect. Yeah, baby. Now, remember those sausages? The Beyond? Okay, so we are going to cut those up like we did earlier. And we're going to cook those and add them to the sauce. Ooh. Basically, I'm cutting them down the middle first. Let me bring you back over here so you can see what I'm doing. And we'll go ahead and put the lid on this pot. Oh, man. Ooh. Oh. Okay. So that is cooking. Now, so I cut the sausage in half and then cut that half in half, and then cut them into small little pieces. Okay. And into the pan we go. So half seeds and then half seeds again. Nani? I know when I was 4, I learned how to cook an egg. And my grandmother put the chair up to the stove. And showed me how to cook an egg. I don't remember if it was scrambled or fried, but that was the first thing I learned how to cook. So, I enjoy cooking. I think when I was little, anytime somebody was cooking something, I usually was in the kitchen. Salsa, I like to eat. I've always liked to eat. I still like to eat. I think most people like to eat. And that is the Beyond Hot Italian Sausage variety. I like this little pan. Maybe I should have used the bigger pan, but it's gonna be all right. So we are going to let those cook. I like to wash my dishes as I go, but I don't want to keep you waiting. This little statue here, it came from Pier 1. The sticker was on the back of it for years, but I've had this for years, but this came from Pier 1. And he has our back to us right now, but in case you were wondering. And that's just stuff for my business. So, I've mentioned that before, majority of my apartment is dedicated to my business, so. These smell so good. They really smell and basically taste just like Italian sausage. I remember back in the day, even some of the, the plant-based meats that first came out, like if I made a pot of spaghetti or something, people couldn't really tell the difference. With these, people would not know that they're not eating sausage. And there was a little bit of the vegan butter, the Earth Balance butter in there, but I watched someone else make these on YouTube, and they kind of make their own oil. And I think it's because there's coconut oil in them. So I think that the coconut oil kind of comes out to give it that more authentic, this is a Italian sausage type of vibe. Okay, I'm just checking on my sauce. And that's what it's looking like. This is coming together. It's coming together. I'm going to let them get a little brown. Just like, again, you would any other sausage. I guess maybe in some people's mind it's just a mindset shift, but it's really the same concept. It's just it's plant-based instead of from an animal or animal-based. And they do have the ground, the ground variety. So if you prefer, like a ground beef type of thing, you can get that. Your regular grocery store may sell it, or you may have to go to a Whole Foods. Like, I have Kroger's and Publix near me, and Wayfield. Wayfield doesn't carry it. I think Kroger's carries Beyond, and Publix carries Impossible, if I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me on that. But a lot of times when you go there, it's out of stock. So I had to go to Whole Foods. Yeah. And that's fine. I don't mind that. But so many people are eating plant-based that a lot of stuff is sold out. Whew. And this is my alkaline pH balanced water with my key lime juice in it. I like drinking out of glass. The water tastes better. I know when I was fasting, it's like I could taste the water. I mean, I could taste the plastic, not the water, the plastic. So this is a glass bottle. I think it came from Target, if I'm not mistaken. And I've had it for some years. I don't remember how much I paid for it. I have other glass ones. I had a really cute one from Ello. E-L-L-O. I like their water bottles. They have the silicone sleeve, like the colorful silicone sleeves on it. But the top broke, and so I threw it away. I probably didn't have to because it was still a glass bottle, but for me it defeats the purpose if I can't close it, if I need to. I kind of think somebody dropped it and didn't say anything, but I'm not going to go there. If somebody breaks something, 9 times out of 10 they're not going to be mature enough to be accountable and responsible and say, oh yeah, I did that, I apologize. Even if they don't replace it, at least, say, oh my bad, yeah, I did it. But again, I digress. So, yep, so these are cooking up really good. I'm gonna here's a little one. You see that it has a little brown. It could cook a little bit longer. And they're so soft that if you wanted to do them, like mash them maybe with a fork or a potato masher into more like a ground beef type of texture, you probably could do that. Ideally, with the Italian sausage, like back in the day, I would do them round and just cut like slices. But since I did it like this in my scramble earlier, I decided to cut them in smaller pieces, because I wanted all, you know, all the little pieces to be good and crispy. I like to have that crispy texture. You know, they say black people overcook their food. Or if you didn't know, now you know. And if you don't know, now you know. When I worked I was a server, and just about everybody, oh, well done, well done. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, because obviously I am cooking my, I just say crispy. I like it crispy. There's nothing wrong with that. It's mine. And if that's the way that I like to eat it, then that's the way I want to eat it. So there's our sauce. Our sauce. Essence sauce. Or gravy. Red gravy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they do it. Hey. Oh, they do it. Hey. Oh, they do it. Yeah. Oh, they do it. Hey. I influence. Hey. I think it's ready now. That's about right. Let me do it like another minute or two. Just to get those crispy little bits. You know what I mean? Okay. Let me taste my